Well, hello, good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Paul Trani here. Going to dive into today's Photoshop Masterclass and a little bit of a design masterclass because we are going to be using Illustrator as well. So, thank you so much for joining me today. Feel free to say hello. Hopefully, volume and the levels are good and all that good stuff. I'll turn it up a touch. And happy Friday to everyone. Hello, Carol Afroja. Let me actually fix this little guy. That's what I want to do. Make sure my camera's following my face. All right. So yeah, audio levels are good. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, Frank, you are too kind. Frank's been doing some great work on Instagram, man. I've been checking out your stuff. You're like me, man. You're like kind of all over the place in a good way. So I'm glad you guys are here. This is all about Stylize like it's 1985. So the reason I like this theme is it really is sort of throwing a lot at you in terms of design. And it's just fun. It's just fun graphic design. I just did synthwave. It's just sort of one version of 80s that you can find out there. There's all this stuff. Premium overdrive. Look at this. So cool. That's all I searched for. And I'm really into this. So, oh yeah. Retro design. So cool. Look at that, people. This is what we're going for. Bobby Orlando, 80s baby. I'm basically an 80s baby. I don't know. It's tough to say. I connect with the 80s, but technically I was born in the 70s. Really into this. So a lot of gradients. You'll notice a little bit of grain on top. I think some of this was actually done in a 3D program, which is always welcome. Totally into it. Totally. Like, this is cool. So anyways, this is actually a whole collection you could download of PSDs. So, but it looks like it actually was like made in a couple elements that you can see stick out. Worked at your first ad agency in the 80s. Wow, Carol, awesome. You'll see a couple of elements stick out. Obviously, a lot of chrome. We'll see this like sun on the horizon a lot. And you'll see like a lot of like grid lines, palm trees, things like that. So, oh yeah, here's the grid lines. So we'll see a lot of this stuff, and we're gonna have fun. And often there's like a posterized look, because I really want to get into that posterized look. I want to get into sort of doing some of this stuff, like these like reverberation lines, can be pretty easy. Oh, this one was actually looks like there might be an animation in here, or maybe not. Either way, that was just for inspiration. So, yeah, happy you guys are here. Yeah, exactly, Frank. So we're like on the same page. Born in the 70s, but, you know, I'm all about 80s and Raiders of the Lost Ark and, you know, all that stuff. What do I think? Flight of the Navigator, throwing out just some. Ooh, this is fun. Cyberpunk sculptures. So, okay, so we got it. We got the idea. We'll jump into, oops. We'll jump into Illustrator. Here we are, sort of our, like an image that we can work with, and I'll be pulling in more images as well. 80s are fuzzy blur. So, yeah, obviously I already have my gradients in the background, and I'll be making use of a lot of these gradients in here as well. Let's start with the grid lines with the background, because I think that will be easy to do. So for that, we're going to jump into Illustrator. Now, in Illustrator, you do have this rectangular grid tool hidden behind the line segment tool. So that could be what we start with. You could do this a couple ways. You can just like drag out and then use your arrow keys up and then to the right to make this as intense of a grid as you want, right? So there's our grid like so. And we want to skew it. So what do we do to skew it? Right in here, free transform tool. We'll select this third option right here. So right from there, we'll just kind of bend that into space like so. And then we might free transform it a little bit more, which should be this. Actually, no, it's the top one. and then kind of scrunch it down. So I'm just kind of playing with this a little bit. Maybe I'll skew it some more. So I'm going to do this. And then we're going to skew it again into perspective like that. And we can even take the grid lines down. But this is along the lines of what I'm looking for. Quite literally, lines. We'll create a backup. But here are our lines we can work with. It's pretty easy to do. Cool. Hello, Muriel. I want to say hi to Muriel and Marcus and Kasun. Awesome. From Nigeria. Good to have you here. Oh, this is, and it might be a very US thing. I don't know how big sort of this synthwave type stuff was in other countries. So we have this grid. This looks pretty good, right? I could take this. I probably like invert it. I probably actually make this. Let's do this. Bam. We'll make this grid lines white. We'll copy it. We'll throw it into Photoshop as a smart object. And there we are. Cool. Cool. Grid lines. But let's do something else, because actually what you'll see out there on the interwebs and just everywhere are like a mountain ridge in the background, because it's meant to simulate the land. Kind of like this. You know, not quite, but we just want to add some mountains to this landscape. Okay, so that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to add some mountains. Yeah, buddy, with He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Thundercats. Yeah, it's very interesting, like, before Thundercats came in. So Ryan, what was your go-to toy back in the day? Would love to hear everybody's go-to toy just for fun. So I need to make some mountains. How would we do that? Well, again, in Illustrator, beyond the width tool, we have these different warp tools. Even this wrinkle tool. I'm going to start with this warp tool right here at the top. And we can come in and just start to warp this out, like pull that up some. And let's double click on that tool and we'll drop this down to 300, 300, something like that. So, and we'll increase the intensity to about 30. But basically I'm just like pulling this up, kind of making these little like mountain ridges. They're hills right now. That's the problem. They're just hills. We kind of start to pull and play with this to make some land. But if we go down here to this actually looks like mountains as well. Yeah, buddy, Ryan, Masters of the Universe. Did you see my my intro screen? That's like straight up Masters of the Universe, just so you know. Check them out. And we're back. Okay. We're back to the wrinkle tool. Using this wrinkle tool, these tools are pretty intense, so you will have to adjust it, but look at, that's how intense it is. So I'm going to double click on it. I'm going to take this intensity down to about 10% again, hide those lines, and let's just like pull this, maybe even make this brush smaller, and then like start to just wrinkle it. So that's all I'm doing to like make it look like mountains. So that's how you do it. Isn't that neat? It's not hard. It's getting a little crazy, but you get the idea. There are mountains. Let's copy that. We'll jump into Photoshop now. Oh, what is all this stuff going on? Too many things. There we go. Pasting it in, there's our mountains. Oh, kids are getting into Master of the Universe. I like how they're like Netflix and stuff. They're really like playing with, you know, the whole Masters of the Universe. There's actually a couple different series out there that you probably are aware of. And all that stuff. All right. So, anyways, there's our lines. We could play with that some more. I do want to make it look a little bit more intense, just so you know. It needs to be more in perspective. So let me just kind of like maybe flatten this down like that. There we go. Even better. We'll take down the grid lines. Perfect. There we go. That's what we want. Right, we could do the moon real fast or the sun. Let's do it. Just creating our basic elements, and then I'm going to jump into Photoshop and do a lot. So here we have this. Let's just get a couple boxes, in fact. These little rectangles. We'll just pick a different color. Couple different ways to do this as well. But I'm just going to use the blend tool because that's probably what you're thinking I would use, isn't it? There we go. We have our grid lines. Double click on the tool. There we go. Light Alive was another great drawing tool. All right. Blend tool works well for this too. Interesting. You know what you can do if you want to keep something flexible? Like I really want this to be these elements to be black. Like this. So maybe I could clip it. Yeah, so Jan, you're right. Like the substance stuff would be great if this was a substance stream. I would love to use a, like, seriously, like Stager, great idea. Like we could totally do that. And maybe we will do that. But anyway, so pasting this in, I didn't want to go through trouble of knocking out blah, 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 doing all that stuff. All I need to do is change this to lighten, and there we have what we need. Okay. Here's my segue. You ready for this? But yeah, Jan, I totally get, like, I'm 100% on board with that, by the way. Even doing some of the 3D, we could maybe start it in Illustrator if we want to. But yeah, so here's this element. Check this out. Here's my little segue. Let's like create a circle with no stroke. And let's just make this like a color. Let's actually put a gradient on top of it. Here's our nice gradient, right? So we could use this as an element too. This might work. But actually what I want is I want the cool banding that you see a lot of times. Can you actually isolate a selected group in Illustrator on the iPad? That's a good question for everyone. Do you mean... I mean, you can group elements so then they're kind of isolated together. But yeah, if you could help us out, that'd be great. Filter gallery. I'm going to jump into filter gallery. It's going to ask me to convert it to a smart object. That sounds great to me. Here it is. And this is where we're going to go to poster edges. This should work. Is it going to work? There we go. Just need to crank up the posterization. So crank up the posterization or crank down the posterization. So now we start to get some of those like grid lines is all I'm looking at doing, just so you know. And that's just posterizing the edges is all. Right, so that gives it a little bit more sort of 80s vibes, if you will. Yeah, good call, Jan, as well. Yeah, like this, that's the problem with the Substance apps. You know, I would love if we could just give all the Substance apps to everybody who have Creative Cloud. That would be awesome. Okay. All right, so there's this. Now we're going to throw in this woman. We want to do a cool silhouette of her. Okay. We want to actually, and I just published a tutorial on it this morning. We want to turn her into that flat graphic look. Like this. we kind of want to do this stuff, like this flat graphic look. That's what we're going for. And I love this. Love this work. Oh, it's James White, of course. He's like the king of 80s sort of synth type stuff. He's the king. But we're going for that graphic look is what we're doing. Such good artwork. All right, so let's go in there. So you might think, first off, I'm going to turn around to a smart object. We'll go into filter gallery again, and we'll take a look at what we just did a second ago, which was using poster edges. So you can actually get rid of the edges, edge intensity, and then start to adjust the posterization. This, I don't even think this looks that great. It looks like old clip art, right? So that's one thing you might try. It just doesn't look that good, to be honest with you. But I'm showing you that it's there. So that might be what you might try. I'll hit cancel. The other posterization is actually right over here. It's actually an adjustment layer. So we'll go to posterize using this adjustment layer. And here we are in properties. Let me drink my coffee. All right. So this is already like looking better. This is more along the lines of what we want. We can kind of dial in these levels any way we want. Look at all that cool like banding we get. This is what we want to do. We want to simplify all these colors. Okay. I will clip it just to the woman. And that could be what we go with. But here's the thing. Like it looks pretty good. It flattens everything out, but look what it does is it really gives me all these jagged lines, you know? So how do you get rid of these jagged lines, you may be asking? Oh, I'm glad you asked, Steve and Marcia. So glad you asked, everyone. Am I looking at the camera? Let me adjust. Okay. Kassoon, I'm not sure if you can copy and paste from, say, Corel Draw into Photoshop. That's a good question. I have not tried it because I do not have Corel Draw. But I'd say give it a go and then report back. So then I will know for the next person to ask me. All right, so let's turn that off. It's posterizing her. We need to smooth her out. How do we smooth her out? Well, this is what I would do. We'll go into filter. And there's a couple different ways to do this, but we're trying to do this non-destructively as far as we can. We'll go into Gaussian blur. We'll turn on Gaussian blur. So what this does is this smooths out all these lines. So this is what it was like before, especially like right here. I just want one clean line. If you add blurring to it, it will start to smooth out that line. Oh yeah, much better. That's what I want. The problem is it blurs her everywhere, right? So we do need to click OK. And we need to go in and start adding to this layer mask that comes with that smart filter. So that's all I'm going to do. Quickly paint. First of all, we need to get the edge going here. Around like so. Make sure this is cranked all the way up. There we are. Okay. So, this is what's happening. Louder, what's up? Right in here, we've added this mask. In fact, if I option click, you can see where I've painted. But basically, I'm adding and removing that blur. So let's turn back on this posterize effect. I want to add or make this ear sharper. Like I need this ear to show up and have more detail. I could just start painting on that ear. So let's take down the flow. But I'll start painting on it and it starts to just bring it back. Even for the hair, I like these strands. So let's just kind of paint a little bit right up here just to bring in some of those, like, just make it look more like hair. Hey, that's what we want. Zip, zip, like that. Other parts right here, like this actually needs to kind of be blurred out. So we could do that as well. So let's just go ahead and remove just by blurring is what I'm doing now. Get rid of those little points. There we go. Cool, cool. Hey, I'm glad you asked that, Frank. How can we fix the jagged lines? We'll sharpen up our eyes. We'll fix the jagged lines, don't worry. But first of all, we're adding the sharpness where we need to. And we're trying to make this as painless as possible as well. But I think that looks pretty good. Like, so far, so good. But we need to clean up the jagged lines, as Frank assumed. Which, honestly, this is where we're going to jump back into Illustrator. Because really, aside from rasterizing this and then using your smudge tool, that's how I've seen people do it. Is they'll just, start using the smudge tool. So we could do it that way. I'm going to use Illustrator because it's just going to be easier. Okay. So I will turn off everything. I'll do select all, edit, copy merged, and we'll paste this into Illustrator. Into our cool file here. Paste. And now, you guessed it, we'll use image trace. Oh yeah, don't worry, Frank. We're going to add the gradient map as well. So we'll come in here, we'll say, drop this down to maybe 6 colors. So trace it. Give me those 6 colors. It smooths it out, and now we have all those crisp lines. Right? This is what I like. We still need to expand it and ungroup it. Probably a couple times. And then delete, and then we'll just let me just start cleaning up. Pen tool. Let's use the pen tool. Just because it obviously made her whole, like half her body disappear because it was white. Done. There we are. We've done our cleanup. Oh, almost missed a major part right down here. You get the idea. I could spend more time on this. Like cleaning up these lines. They're all vector now. In fact, some of these parts are looking pretty rough even along this edge. Yeah, you can spend all day long right in there doing that. But what I want to do is just copy it all. We'll bring it back into Photoshop, pasting it as a smart object, and we'll put it right on top just so we could see the difference. There we go. So we have our before. You guys see that? Our before. Let's zoom in on maybe the eye. And then our after. Before, after. Cleaning it up. There we go. But you're right, she looks weird, so let's add that gradient map. You know I'm gonna. We have our cool background. We have this shape. These other lines. So let's throw gradient map on top. Adjustment layer, gradient map. We're gonna remap those colors just for her. We will reverse it, and we'll pick some more fun colors. Like any one of these, at least to start with. Maybe this one? Yeah, let's go with this one, because this one I know I just need to add some highlights. So we'll add a color stop down here. Shabba. Yeah, maybe it's white, something like that. And then just start to manipulate this any way you want. How are we doing? Is that better? I mean, I'm not sure if this, I mean, I like the warm tones, but we could always try a couple of these. So we'll just like throw another one on top. We'll save this one. Oops. And, you know, just try some of this other stuff. Just click around. Like if something ever is not working, just like do the opposite of what you were doing. And I think sometimes that just gets you out of like a funk. Right? So this is totally opposite of what I would normally do. Like look at these crazy colors. Trippy. All right, went too far one direction. And when she's green, she looks like an alien. So let's go with this one. There we go. Here's our other version. So we basically have sort of our yellow version and then more of our purple version. So we could always decide later, but you get the idea. All right. So yeah, I think something like this so far, yeah. You know, let's just go with it. We could add some fun text here as well. We could throw some palm trees in here, right? Because there's always palm trees. It always looks like it's like in Miami for some reason. Let me show you something else real fast. Let me just do this. Oh, here, perfect. Palm trees, boom. Now let's get this. Something maybe like that. I don't know. Oh man, Miami Vice, when that hit, oh, that was next level. Alrighty. I'm not crazy about this halo around her hair. I'm just like not into it. So it's nice that this is vector. We can jump in, make some quick changes. Like all of this, these parts. We need to fix it. So don't mind me. I'm gonna just jump in here and do some stuff. You know how you just do stuff sometimes? I'm just doing stuff. Okay. I could also change the colors in Illustrator, but why do that? There we go. Fixed it. Yes. A little In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins. Some of that jazz. Love it. Let's jump in here. Don't mind me. I'm just realizing that those darks need to be even darker. These blues. There we go. Something like that. All right, cool. Yeah, that works for now. Can always change it. I'm going to save my file. Yeah, let's do that. So I want to add some text. Oh, this is what I was thinking of. I want to get like a motorcycle, or even like, what shall we search for? Like Ferrari or DeLorean. Okay. This is not a great photo. It's a little low res. We'll try to extract it from the background. Select remove background. Ah, did a pretty good job. Let's go with it. Oh yeah, we'll position that right there. We can go through that same process. Ooh, flamingos would be fun. I can feel it coming in the end of night. Hold on. We got the gradient map. Pata! There we go. So right on that car. It's not posterized. We could do the same thing there. So right here, that posterized effect, let's drop it right on that car. So there, what we've done, we've basically added everything to the car. It needs like a lot of work. I would jump in. I would totally need to clean up. Like all this just needs to be cleaned up big time. Let's just go rough. Let's just get it done. Let's get it done, folks. Get it done. This needs to be all black. This window too. And this isn't quite what I even wanted to do. I want to show you how to do like a cool, maybe we'll try a cool electric look on this is what I want to do. But just give me 1 second. All right, that's good. It's fine. It might not even keep it in. So does the posterize effect? We go through that whole process to do all that fun stuff. I was thinking about trying to make this look electrified. So let's try this quick effect. So we'll take this. We'll go to filter, into the filter gallery. And we've been playing with poster edges, but we can go into stylize. Here we go. And we'll try this. Glowing edges. Turning that on. And now we have just like a pretty cool like electric look. And you could play with the edge width, make this more or less electric. But this works best, I think, for objects that are very graphic to begin with. So like it gets very muddy on this tire. So I probably need to go in and clean that up to really get this to like pop right, you know? But there that is. That is done. And I can use a gradient map here to kind of remap those colors as well. Well, that looks pretty good. Let's take it, let's put it beneath, like back there, something like that. I don't know. We'll play with the composition later. But pretty easy to do. We just created an electric look. I actually like the original colors, though, as I look at this some more. I'm really into that. You know? Let's turn those off. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay. We could say, hey, you know, let's just keep those electric lines. We'll just change this to like anyone in this category, any blend mode within this category you can pick from. Looks like screen gives me a good pop. And now we have like our grid lines for this particular vehicle. And what we could do is we could duplicate that. So we'll duplicate it like so. We'll change this to I want to change this to. Wait for it. I know what I'm doing. Let's remap it. Shabam. There we go. And then we'll put these electric lines on top. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. And by the way, it's like you got to be able to tell that this is a DeLorean. So maybe I do something like this. You ready? Let's take this. We're going to shrink this circle down a touch. We're going to take her and we will we'll put her inside that circle. There, kind of like that. So she, and by the way, is that a perfect circle? Did I accidentally distort it? Oh, good eye. Good eye me. Yeah, I jacked it up. It's my own fault. There we go. All right, so we have our circle, we have our woman. Let's grab this selection. Throw a mask. Make sure her head is popping out at the top. Like that. There we go. We'll do something like that. And let's like move her around. Maybe she's down there like that. Maybe she's a little larger. And then we have our vehicle popping out right there. Good eye me. Yeah, Marcus, I think we're on the same page. So it's still a little messy. It's going to get even messier because I haven't even dealt with type yet. And that's going to be fun. So let's do that. Let's get into it. Let's like... I like the word midnight. Midnight. All right. So for this text, we want to do a lot of this sort of thing. Let's see what we got. Like this. Love this stuff. Can do something like that. So that's the plan. Shall we? So it's going to be like midnight something. So what we need is of course, a sans serif font. And it has to be pretty angular. So what would work well is like a Futura. First of all, this font I already have. In fact, let's try... I don't want to spend a lot of time, but we need something angular like this din. Impact. Impact is nice and, thick. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Let's see if Mendy has a bold. Okay, cool. Kind of into this. We will tighten this up a little bit. And let's just put her in a... Let's clean up my folders. There we go. Ba-ba. Let's do it. All right, so throw some. So I need a cool phrase, by the way. I'm just using like midnight something, like midnight 88 or midnight 84 or midnight turbo or turbo midnight, like just something cheesy. That's what I'm looking for. But what we do need to do is we throw a gradient overlay on top of it. We've been playing with these ones up here. Sure. But ultimately, you're going to need something a little bit more unique. All right, got a lot of these crazy things. And what we need to do, and I remember airbrushing this stuff just to really date myself. I remember airbrushing this stuff when I was, we're talking actually 90s. I was into airbrush. But we need, sorry. Scroll it back. We need to mix this up. We need black. We need black, a color, and then white. And then we'll go again. Black. See what it's doing with the text right there? A color, and then white. Maybe I'm picking the same colors a little bit too much. Maybe I want to dip into, I don't know, more of a gold. Let's fix this. Not bad. Yeah, Midnight Blue. That is a song by Lou Gramm from the 80s, late 80s. Midnight Blue. So yeah, there we have that. Yeah, we can always change that color. So we have part of this done. Not bad. Not bad. We could always change the angle. But I kind of like this because we're kind of mimicking a horizon where like here's maybe the sun and then the ground, something like that. Let's do an inner glow. Nice little inner glow, which is like a soft blue. We'll just kind of use that to soften it up. But basically we're kind of making a metallic look. We can give this a bevel and emboss. And we want the sharpest angles that we can get. So we definitely want chisel hard. And then you might need to play with the shading. And actually, let's turn off that inner glow just so we could really see that. If we change this gloss contour, this is where we get those nice sharp edges. Like these highlights are going to be awesome. Because you're right, we are going to use some lens flares and stuff like that. But that's what it is. That gloss contour is awesome. We can still kind of move this around, but look what it's doing. It's creating everything we need. Let's change the size. Drop down the size a little bit. And still play with this. There we go. Not bad. I don't know if this... I don't know if this our inner glow is really adding that much. It kind of muddies it. So we will keep it crisp. So we'll remove that. That looks pretty good. All right. Yeah, not bad. Let's take this gradient and we're going to save it. Because I actually have this gradient as well. So we can kind of check and see which one we like. I almost want to change this color. Ooh, okay. Okay, I kind of like this. I like that. Pull that off. All right, so we'll go with something like that for now. Cool? All right, fine. Let's move on. What else should we do? Oh, yeah, we needed to add a little bit of a glow. It's basically you just need to throw everything at this. Like, yeah, outer glow, right? Just like a nice blue. Just because we can, right? And again, just go back to your references. And by the way, this is like a knockoff of stuff from the 80s. But you'll see a lot of the similar elements. Like I like this cool bevel. Like this. So nice. We're going to get some of those little lens flares in there. That's going to help out a lot. All right, so let's do lens flares. lens flares. All right, everything is black. Filter, render, lens flare. There's our little lens flare. We have a couple different styles. Ooh, this one's cool. A stroke with a metal gradient. Yes, Frank, that would be cool. A stroke with a metal gradient. Midnight Fury. Oh, Marsha, that's awesome. But this is what I'm talking about. So I'll usually do just a lens flare right here. I'll turn that into a smart object, and then I'll just like resize this down. At this point, we want to actually change it to, again, one of these, probably. Oh, let's look at color dodge. Bling. There's your color dodge. Oh yeah, that'll hurt your eyes, but that looks awesome, right? Command J, just kind of move this around. Might need to change the blend mode depending on where we put it. It's leaning a little bit. I think it's fine. Color dodge. Man, I love that color dodge. Oh, so nice. We could also clip this to, could we actually, is that going to make it disappear? Yes, it would make it disappear. Okay, so you're right. So Frank is right. I think we do need, we do need a, what would also make this look good is if it had another stroke around it that was like also metal. Like easier said than done. I'm trying to keep this like non-destructive. Because if you look in here, stroke, we don't have the ability. Oh, never mind. I lied. Ah. Can we just give Frank a round of applause? I don't know if you knew about this, but I did not know about this. I just realized that if I go into the stroke, I have this little drop down for gradient. Like, I didn't even know that existed. Oh, how heavenly. So nice. Oh, yeah, baby. Look at that. Shabam. Zaba. Yeah, baby. Look at that. We could do like an angle. Oh yeah, midnight. Midnight. What was the? What did you say? Midnight Turbo. What was the? So sorry. Midnight Fury. Thank you, Marsha. I'll take this down maybe a little bit. It's a little thick. And by the way, let's take a look. If you want more of a gradient, like you don't have to, like, what if I wanted this to repeat a couple times? You could go in here and change this to say reflected, right? And what that does is that reflects that gradient. So just keep that in mind so you're not making all these color stops. But you do have these different options from angled, linear, reflected will, of course, reflect it. Actually, you could probably see it better over here. Oops. Yeah, reflected just gives me more options, I feel like. Something like that. Okay, cool. Got it done. Cool. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Yes. Frank, I need to complete my training with you, my friend. Tell me more. I don't know if you knew that. Did you know that? I don't know, man. That was just like next level. Okay, we'll group everything. And now we have our text. We need to add one more thing to it. We need to add our Midnight Fury. So we need our cursive text or font. Let's turn that off. Oh, yeah. I actually downloaded this already because this is not part of the Adobe fonts, but this one's called Outrun Future. And that's kind of the vibe I'm going for. All right, so we got Midnight Fury. We could take this text and make this look like it is maybe like neon sign, neon glow. For starters, I might just make this black because I might need to be a filled shape, but we want to kind of like have this text filled in and then this neon. I don't know. We'll try it. We'll just try it. So what do we need? We need our outer glow. We need our inner glow. Where's our inner? There's our inner glow. Do you have an inner glow? I hope so, everyone. Let's just have a nice inner glow, huh? I will do a stroke. Set this to normal. There's our stroke, just makes it look a little bit electric there. And we can add additional strokes and things. But you can't, and I don't know why it's this way, but you can't add additional glows, which is kind of a bummer. I'm being honest. All right, but there we have that. But Frank probably knows. Midnight Fury. I don't know. That word is looking very weird to me right now. Fury? Just like, I don't know. Where's Midnight Fury? Boom! Maybe that's the name of the car. Right? Who knows? We don't know. This car is looking very messy at this point. All right, how we doing on time? Oh, geez, I gotta hurry with this layout. Midnight Fury, Shabba. There we are. Sweet. I would probably add more darks to the background because since I added that text, I need to start adding blacks different places. Yeah, you need a no on the glow. Thanks, Frank. Yeah, so unless we did this in Illustrator, I probably would do this in Illustrator because that way you can add as many glows and all that stuff that you want. Anyways, so let's get it going on. Let's go. Hurry. I got like only a couple minutes left. So she needs to be like up like that. Here's the car. The car needs more work. And I need to tie this all together a little bit better. The car needs a lot more work. But these glow lines are kind of cool. Like, I can kind of offset it and maybe tint those different colors too. That would be cool if all these lines were like a little bit different color. There we go. Maybe we do something like that. All right, so that is pretty much my time down to the last minute. So, of course, at this time, I'm probably going to mess it up. But that's okay. There we go. Boom, baby. How you like them apples? We did it, everyone. just in time. Not sure why that's turning green, but we did it. So thank you for joining me today. Yeah, I could work on the car some more, but yeah, we did a pretty good job in the short amount of time that we had. Hopefully you learned some things, especially around posterization. I thought that was pretty important. And yeah, let's start a new project right now and go. But thank you, Froja, Carol, Marcus, James, Michelle as well. You guys have a great weekend. I just like hanging out with you guys. So let's do this more often, shall we? But yeah, thanks so much. I think Jason's up. Wait, hold up. Terry's up next. How to customize Lightroom Classic. Awesome. Love customization. Perspective tool. Got some more masterclasses. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thanks so much for hanging out with me. And yeah, I'll post this to the Instagrams of the world, and appreciate you guys being here. So that's about it. That's all I got. All the news I have for you. So thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you dig what we made, and I'll let you guys go and enjoy my little He-Man figures. See ya!